open it to the public at 8:15.
My family's been here since 1968. You can look up at the sky and see the stars like a planetarium. There used to be woods across from my house, and that is a parking lot where the last owners of the Black Bear, when he was building it, he came to me and he said, you know, is it all right if we, and I said, I don't care. My mother, though, God rest her soul, said, as long as you don't put a parking lot or something there, you know, it's all right by me. And I'm afraid that you build a big building that's a soccer field. That's as big as a football field, right? So it can't be just 50 by 100. It's got to be like at least 150 by maybe 150. We have a general store there that's been there before I came here. It's a landmark. So what happens, you will start building delis and this and that, and then this guy's out of business. And taxes, what about taxes? When my family came here, we were $40 a quarter. Now it's thousands of dollars a quarter. So my concern is taxes and what exactly is going to be across the street from me. Like I say, I was already promised that it would never ever be a parking lot, and it's a parking lot, so that's my concern. You know, I don't want to be driven out of the town, and you know, like I say, it's my home. So that's my concern. That something's going to happen where they're going to have to, okay, now we got to widen the street. We got all these tractor trailers coming in. Now we got to widen the street and this and that. You know, and it just seems like taxes. And Clarksburg's a nice town. Why don't we just leave it like it is?
Two questions, a couple questions actually. Is this facility going to be a seasonal, or is it going to be open all year round?
We don't have any information.
Well, this is what I'm concerned about. We already have a facility that's already a couple miles away from us, which is in Jackson. If it's going to be a seasonal, then we have to worry about, and again, it's open. It's not going to be open just to Millstone residents. It's going to be open to everybody. So now we have to be concerned about traffic, more parking, and again, if it's open all year round, what is the ordinance going to be as far as time? When is it going to be open? When is it going to be closed? So these things are very concerning to people of all of us, because again, we're already living through a problem in Jackson. It's not our problem. Our traffic is horrendous. This will only increase if this is not just seasonal for the summer, if it's open all year round. Where is this traffic and other people coming from other towns coming to our town parking? So you can't tell me that you're going to build a facility, I am a builder, that is going to be based just on a summer income. It will not sustain it, and it will not, the problem with that is to support a building of this magnitude, which we all think it's going to be small, with the gentleman that said it, it's going to be very large. The income in this alone has to be maintained all year round. So as Millstone residents, we've already seen the impact of Great Adventure, which we all scream about. We're going to see the impact of this enormous facility that's going to be in Jackson. Do we need another facility that's going to increase traffic even more in our town? Again, you're talking about taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. Listen, we live here because we love it. Nobody wants to move from here. It's not going to help our taxes. I don't want to hear it, because I've lived here over 20 years. Because building a facility of this magnitude with the price that it's going to cost to build this, artificial grass, dome, height, lot, you cannot maintain it in the summer, just the summer from May to July to September. Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. They're depending on not just Millstone residents, because let's be realistic, how many kids? We're all growing up, our kids are growing up, we have younger families coming in, but we're also losing a lot of the kids that we thought were younger are now going to college, doing other things. So they are hoping that they're going to bring other people from other towns. So now we have the problem with bringing other people from other towns here. This is my concern, is that I'm looking at you because being a planner, I should be looking at everybody. We live here for a reason. We live here because we love this town. We came here because it was a sense of being in a rural area, trees, fields. What happens to the point where this could be built, and then he decides, one day, I can't afford this anymore? What happens at that point? What happens to that particular field? It gets destroyed, it gets ripped down. Then what do we do then? We destroy a landmass for another purpose. Now that purpose is going to be, once you level areas, it can only be used for one thing. You got to rezone it for homes? I don't think so. You got to rezone. The only thing that's happening right now, we see it happening on 33, Monroe, Marlboro, anywhere. It's warehouses. That is what's making money in this whole area. So what happens to Millstone? I just don't get the logic of putting a facility. Bear Camp has been successful. It's for this reason. Again, for me, I'm a little confused of why they want to bring such a big facility in an area. Is it more money, more revenue? Is that going to help Millstone? Who knows? The only way it's going to help Millstone if it's open all year round. And who's going to pay the price for that? The Millstone residents. So you're opening up a can of worms. You let this be built there, that whole field is going to be built because someone's got another developer or part owner or whoever owns that facility is going to say, you know what, they did it over here. Why don't we do it over here? We have enough retail in this town. I actually drive around through this town. You can go through any one of our little strip malls and they're still not filled. We're trying to make Millstone into something that it's not. It's a rural town. It's a town that everybody loves. And that's just the way it is. If you want to change it, that's a shame. Because I think people move here because they want to get away from that. Why turn it into something that people try to get away from? And this is my fear, is that I think that development of this is only going to be the start of development everywhere else there's property in this town. So, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Been here 40 years, like most people, some other people. Anyway, my biggest concern is traffic, because we do now have warehouses at the end. It first started off as a 7-up warehouse, I'm not sure when, probably back in the early 80s. And when that was built, they said they were making no left-hand turns, no trucks allowed down the road. And at the time, their answer was, well, that bridge was only like a 15-ton bridge. They couldn't go over that bridge. Well, 2 months later, brand new bridge. I'm not sure what the weight limit is, but it's enough for trucks. I looked at it, I forget what it is. Now the warehouse is there now. There's traffic going up and down that road now, the tractor trailers.
You talking about Red Valley Road?
Yeah, Red Valley Road.
Cutting through the park, too.
Excuse me?
They cut through the park as
yeah,
well.
yeah, they cut through the park. So, like, you know, since like the last few years, it seems like everything's getting, not dumped, but moved to that side of town. We have the park, which I live right, not quite my backyard, but almost. Hope everybody enjoys it, you know. But my biggest concern is traffic. And we don't know what kind of buildings going there. I kind of understand what they're trying to do or whatever, but I have to wait to the next stage, I think, to see what they're going to do. So, but my concern is traffic. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to be quite honest with you. I think when the Black Bear Group proposes something, it tends to go through, but then they go ahead and do what they want to do. For example, a couple of years ago, I know you probably remember,
Yes.
he's bought quite a few properties on Red Valley Road for the camp. And the next thing, the property directly next to mine, he plowed and stripped the whole field and ensuing like mountain behind it. And that caused a significant amount of erosion and flooding onto my property. Then finally one of the inspectors came and looked at it, and he was shocked, and that what was going on. They eventually did rectify it to a degree. They built a berm, which it's really not even a proper berm, and they corrected some of the flooding that came. but it ruined my fields. I mean, all this water was coming in. We raise and breed horses. That's our business. Everything was flooded in the paddock, going down the road, and then finally they fixed it, but it's really not a good fix. It's like it's just okay. And my feeling is I'll come right out with it. I don't trust the Black Bear Group because they're going to do what they want to do, and then you come and find out about it after the fact. I'm not comfortable with them, and I don't trust them. They're saying this kind of a soccer field, it's going to be closed. They just don't have my confidence. I really, and then I want to know, what does it mean where the old Clarksburg Inn is, that there are retail establishments? What does that mean? There are going to be stores there, like a little 7-Eleven or another little liquor store? What does that mean?
We have no plans for anything.
So the existing zoning as is allows for small-scale retail. That could be, which is in terms of your definition in the township ordinance, it's a broad definition. It could be a florist shop. It could be not a 7-Eleven, because actually, with the existing standards, the coverage and the height would allow that. The new standards, that would be too big of a development. It's for very small. A nail salon could go in, a little bakery could go in. I mean, you can't control, or you can't differentiate between certain retail uses. So it's whatever your ordinance already allows.
It's wide open.
It is.
It's a 7-acre parcel.
That's not a very comforting
But
feeling.
that's what's there now. I'm just telling you, it's 7 acres of neighborhood commercial zone. Is that?
And what recourse do local people that it directly affects have? None.
Right now, we don't know what they're doing, so.
And when is this final vote taken? When is it decided? Which I'm sure it'll go through.
Maybe tonight, maybe next month.
Oh, really?
No.
It would
But
be
that
voted on this evening?
that's just change the zone. Nothing to do with what they're proposing. That could be 3 years from now. It may never happen. We don't know.
The traffic, the hours of operation, that comes with site
That's a
plan at
different-
the planning board.
And that, you get invited to that as well.
If you got a notice to this, you would get a notice to that meeting as well.
And that's when the traffic, the building height, what does it look like, where they're coming from, where they're going, all this stuff
Parking.
gets discussed.
So this is just to tell
It's
us all.
just saying, no neighborhood commercial recreation use, which could be a closed-in soccer stadium at 100 by 200, whatever the case may be. 100 by 200, whatever the case may be.
100 by 200, whatever the case may be.
Now we're looking at about 5,000 square feet with the new zoning permitted. Maybe, don't, plus or minus, maybe 6, maybe 4, but that's the less than 10 really is what we're looking
But
at.
definitely no warehouse in either scenarios. No warehouse here will never happen. And again,
I don't necessarily believe
whatever
that.
they propose will come to us again for a full review.
What would you prefer to happen? And I ask all of you,
I'm not really sure. I just, dealing with Black Bear has left, I don't trust them. It's left a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't trust what they would propose because I don't think they'd adhere to it. What would I like? I'd like to not see an indoor soccer field or ball playing field built. We're going to have something like that anyway over there at that Jackson Crossing.
Adventures Crossing.
That would, I would imagine, cover the need for that. But I guess Magic thinks he's going to attract more campers with a facility like that. I don't feel comfortable with it. I'd rather see them sell that other Clarksburg Inn property and somebody else maybe do something with it and cross that bridge. But I don't like the idea of an indoor sports facility.
Again, nothing's proposed yet.
I've been here all my life. I recognize some faces. We've all been through this kind of stuff. together. I've been sitting in these planning board meetings when I was in high school. We used to come here when they were changing zoning and proposing things back then. Part of our land is part of the park that's right now. One of the reasons why we sold it to the town is because we wanted to make sure there was never ever going to be any buildings on it. There would always be open space or trees or something to that effect. So the park seems to be a decent compromise. But like my father had said and others had said, you know, already we've seen changes that we thought were outside of the purview of what was allowed. And just like there is a township master plan that shows intent, this is kind of a master plan of what they intend. Because although they're saying that, well, we don't know what they're going to do. For now, we're just going to change the zoning. Well, then why is there anything in here about any other businesses being built? Or mention of an indoor soccer sports? There's clearly references to it here. And also it says that the retail stores may share a wall with this proposed indoor soccer field. So again, you're talking about a massively large building. If you're talking about not only the soccer field, but you also want to have attached shops. When I got the certified letter that notified us of this, I had asked on one of the township Facebook groups if anybody else had gotten it. Nobody else even knew what I was talking about. So I went down and I got the ordinance myself. And when I had basically did my own amateur analysis of this, I gotta tell you, my analysis of this is scarily close to what they said was kind of the intent. People told me that I was crazy, that there was no way that this is what they had intended. Sure enough, it is kind of what they intend. They're saying it right here. We know what they want to do in the long run. Sure, right now maybe it's just a zoning change, and maybe, oh, the zoning right now doesn't allow for these things, but we don't know the future. We don't know what's gonna happen. One end of the street is already warehouses. You know, I just don't know if I want to see already there's traffic jams in front of our house during summer. I mean, just in the time I've been here, and I'm turning, what, I'm 37 or something, around there. Sorry, not too good with mental math. But 37, so I've been here all but 3 years of my life, but even during those 3 years, I was back and forth between here. So I've basically lived here all my life, and already I've seen the town change so much. I went to all these schools and everything, and that's one good thing for the town. There's excellent schools here. But as far as this, I don't know, it just seems a little outside of what the sentiment seems to be. It just seems to be outside of what people want. And just like you're saying, oh, well, we don't know what's going to be there. He would have to bring his plans before the planning board, and we'll address it then. Well, if the zoning stays the same, whoever's going to propose, you say on the current one, they could build some gigantic shops. Well, they would have to bring it before the planning board then, would they not? And then people could come together and again say, no, we don't want that either, correct? You all would come if they wanted to do that, right? So I just don't see what the problem is. Leave it the way that it is, because obviously with this, they have a clear intent. Who knows how long it'll take them to get there? But it seems pretty clear what their intent is from what's in here. And that's basically what I have to say. Thank you very much.
You're trying to turn it around now where if we don't approve this, we're going to have a big skyscraper. No, dear, we're not going to have a big skyscraper because everybody would be down here protesting it. We do not need this here in Clarksburg, period. And if they start to build a big skyscraper, I'll be the first one down here to protest. All right? Thank you very much.
I've been here 33 years, and my kids grew up here, and we've been down this road plenty of times. And Black Bear has always been busy and hopping, and the kids are always going there for camp. They've also bussed in companies that want to have their end of the summer parties or whatever, things like that. They have big buses coming through that they rent out, charter buses, and also school buses. They bus people in. I've seen that over time, and the traffic at that bend is bad. Plus, getting there is not easy from either way. I've seen them come through Roosevelt, 571, come back through that way. That seems to be the main route people want to cut through town to get to Great Adventure. So there's a lot of traffic with just people wanting to get to Great Adventure, and they cut through that way. So there is a lot of traffic. I agree with everybody here. I don't think we need Black Bear to expand and put in some type of facility there, because we are kind of surrounded by a lot of facilities that do that. And everybody here seems to want to have, just keep it the way that it is. So instead of changing the zoning, maybe change the zoning from what it is, but not to that kind of zoning, maybe make it something better that everybody in the area would like better.
Well, that's what we want to hear everybody's opinion, and we want to understand how everybody feels. And, we have to take our professionals, what they're getting paid to do, inform us and inform you.
Right.
And then we make a decision together.
There is maybe a little bit of misunderstanding between some of us here. Maybe some of the new people, like I was chatting with, who didn't understand what the potential of this was. And somebody had said something to me, well, the land on that side of town doesn't have any value anyway. So I'm and that's kind of really, really, really bugs me, because it just kind of shows that there's new people moving in who don't care and don't get what Millstone has been about, and I'm just trying to do what I think is best. They say that this is better. I don't think it is, because just like if we leave the zoning as it is, and somebody wants to come and build 1,000 square foot shops, I think we'd all say no. And another thing, they're proposing new shops anyway. Well, they want to put a deli, and what happens to the general store down the street that's been here forever? I just don't want to see places like that go out of business, and then we have what was once a kind of a landmark in town is now an abandoned building that needs to be torn down. I don't want to see any more of that either.